questions that we provided the candidates in advance of this evening to prepare. Now is the section of our evening that we will open it up to questions from the audience. And again, if we could first allow any Wells students who have questions to participate and ask our candidates. And I've never known Wells students to be shy. So any questions from students? And we want to make sure we get a mic to you so you can be heard. Any questions? So let's clear. And this question goes to Rose first, since we're alternating questions of who answers first. So Rose gets the first opportunity to answer. So don't forget, you're going to introduce yourself by name.
My name is Ethan Beardsley. I'm a sophomore at Wells. My question is, and I want to let you know that I respect that you have your religious beliefs. I do respect that. But do you believe that by allowing your religious beliefs to affect how you do your job, do you believe that that affects, I believe that that affects everyone else's religious beliefs. So if some of your citizens don't have the same religious beliefs, isn't that affecting their religious freedom?
I don't understand how it affects others' religious freedom.
Because by allowing your religious beliefs to affect how you use the law, that's holding your morals and your ethics, well, your religious beliefs to how everyone else believes. So if we don't have the same convictions as you do, we don't get to follow through with the law that we believe in because you don't believe it.
Okay, let me try to help you understand, first of all, what I'm doing in the town clerk's office. Okay, first we have a town clerk's office. We have a town clerk and we have deputy clerks. They can all do the job. Okay, this is what we've set up. We've set up, we're going to do all marriage license by appointment, every marriage, not just heterosexual or homosexual, everything. It's all getting delegated to the deputy. Now this way, I mean, we didn't have to do it that way. We could have just done same-sex marriage by appointment with the deputy. But I really thought about this a lot, and I thought, I do want to be fair. I do not want to discriminate. You know, I mean, I just don't. It's not part of who I am. So I want to be considerate to everyone. So everyone is going to be treated the very same way. In bigger offices, this is the way it's done anyway. And most of the time, people do call in and make an appointment before they come in, so it's not a big deal. The only thing different is that I personally will not put my pen to the marriage licenses anymore. It's kind of like when you go into the DMV, you don't really get to pick the clerk behind the window. I mean, you know, you don't say, oh, she's going to do it for me. They're not going to do that. So if you went in, and even if you went into a really large city office, you might get people, deputies, but there might be 3 or 4 deputies back there and the clerk, and you might even get them whispering saying, I don't want to do this one, you go do it. Now that would be really, discriminating. And I just want to say, the reason I brought this forward is because I'm an honest person, and I don't want to do that. I don't want that going on in my office. So there is no space for discrimination in the town clerk's office in Ledyard.
Can I ask for a clarification?
Sure.
So you said you weren't going to put your pen through any marriage license?
No marriage licenses, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Ed, would you like to respond to the
Yes,
question as well?
a couple of little things. First off, when do we start expecting the DMV to give us good customer service? That's not. Second, Thomas Jefferson, when he wrote the letter to the Baptist church, he said that there should be a wall of separation between church and state. He was not saying people that serve, men and women that serve in the government should not be religious. It's not what he meant. I mean, this is a man that allowed church services to be held in the Capitol building. What he meant was that as citizens, we are subject to the law because we're all going to have different beliefs and different religions. The other thing about punishing everybody equally by making everybody have to call in and make an appointment. The clerk is there at the public's service. They're supposed to be there and be able to do everything that the job requires whenever the doors are open. That's kind of the point of everything, isn't it? Shouldn't everybody get treated the same before the law and get treated well? It's not just equality, it's being treated well equally. I hope that answers your question.
Can I respond to that?
No.
No.
Leave it right there. Thank you for asking. Other questions? And do remember, questioners have 1 minute to ask their question.
Hi, my name is Chuck Bernard, and I'm S2014 president here at Wells. My question for both of you guys is, have either of you experienced a similar situation in policy or law that conflicted with your morals, and how did you deal with that situation then?
Well, I think it's me first.
Yep.
It was not so much with law, it would be policy, corporate policy. Do I want to say the name of the company and open myself up to a lawsuit? Sometimes it's important for elected officials to be quiet. Yes, it has happened that I've been in a situation where policy I thought was unfair towards one of my employees. It was a situation where they were being asked, it was more medical, they were being asked to do things that they were not physically capable of doing due to a condition that they had. And it came to the point where somebody was about to be terminated. And I stood up and told them they could fire me. And that I won't do it, I won't write them up. The stand didn't necessarily work. Small cog, big wheel. And the company made it uncomfortable enough for the individual that he moved on to another company. Oddly enough, with the same parent company, because everybody's owned by Estee Lauder. But yeah, it comes to a point where, and even in this position, if the state of New York asked me to do something that I think is against my code of honor, or is against my religious beliefs, or is against what I think is the right thing, I'll let you know, and I'll step down. Because I'm there to represent the law, and I don't have a choice about what the law is, but I do have a choice on my own personal actions, and I think that's kind of the important takeaway from that.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, let's talk about law. Was law written to be in stone? Why do we have so many lawyers? Shouldn't we test things? Should we just go along with everything? Now, let me say this. If the activists that wanted same-sex marriage did nothing and let the status quo be like it is, with just heterosexual marriage, would we have a new law? No. That's because they pushed. And that was the right thing for them to do. Because when you push a law, you get action. So if you just resign, what does that do for anybody? That is not a courageous act. So I really think that if you, if you use your brain and find a way to work within the law, then that's the best thing. If you need to protest, let's talk about Wall Street. Are these people on Wall Street following the law? Some of them are getting arrested. Shouldn't we protest? I mean, we don't live in a tyrannical state, do we? Are we just supposed to follow the law, follow the law? This is all the email I get. This is the mantra in the email I get. You're a bigot. You should resign. Follow the law. Okay, I'm going to turn it around. Say you're a vegan, okay? You don't eat dairy, you don't eat meat. Say you've been working in a job for 10 years. And then your employer says to you, we all have to eat meat now, it's part of the job. Are you going to eat meat, or are you going to say, excuse me, I think I need an exemption? What do you think? Think about that. That's what I'm doing. A person who is a vegan has a conviction. They do not want to eat meat. And they won't if they're a strong person. I happen to be a Christian with a conviction, and I will stand up for my rights, because this country was built on religious freedom, all kinds of freedom, personal freedoms. We're not going to give those up. If we resign, we give up our freedoms. We have to fight for our freedoms. Okay.
Well, other questions? Any other students have questions?
Hi, my name is Doug Whaling. I'm actually a senior here at Wells College. This is going to apply more to Rose than to Ed, and I apologize. You said you have a serious faith and that you're a Bible-believing Christian. I don't know the words were exactly what you said. Is there another instance where you would be unwilling to sign a marriage certificate, or are you just picking this one issue out of your belief?
Well, actually, Arthur Belansoni gave me a good point, and I've been thinking about it a lot, and I never thought about it before. And that is, a lot of people get married these days, and they are not Christians. A lot of people get married in adulterous situations. And in the past, I just did these, I don't ask people what their situation is. And so he got me to think, and I said, well, maybe it's a good thing I'm getting off all marriages, because maybe I'm doing marriages that, I don't know, I mean, it's really not my business, but it's a good point, it's a good point. So maybe now I'm relieved of all of those problems.
So if those aren't your business, why is gay marriage your business? Is it just because
Because when people come in to get their marriage application, it's not just a here, take the form, fill it out. I actually sit with them. Some clerks even counsel them. I don't do that. But it's kind of an intimate space, because this, if they get married, this is a serious thing. I just don't feel comfortable with it.
But isn't that...
Respond to that question. The candidates know that they do not have to, that they're free not to respond to any question. So it's your choice.
I'll respond. So, my religious faith. I'll talk to you about my religious faith all day long. I was baptized when I was 15, and I go to church every week. I will tell you my faith. But my faith is not the issue. Your religion and your personal beliefs are not the issue. The issue is when you take a position, you act with the authority of law. I don't know how many of you have had to deal recently with sexual harassment laws. There's a certain thing when you work for somebody, or if you speak with authority, that gives your words more weight. And failing to be open to other people, it's an abuse of power. It may seem like a small thing. Start small. Carry it to the next. To use your example of the vegan, if I say, I believe in PETA, I am a strong PETA supporter. My company actually used to be PETA approved. So, do I sign a hunting license? Yes, I do. You do. And I know you do. And I know you care about your animals.
You can get an exemption if you can find a way.
Please, let's, no conversation.
We're talkers.
That's why we have a structure.
I know. But you have to be careful when your beliefs start being imposed upon somebody else. And the law is the law. And people that represent the law, you can step down and no longer be a representative of the law and still protest. Conscientious objectors found other ways to serve, but they didn't call themselves fighter pilots. They didn't take a job that they couldn't do. And sometimes jobs change. It's a sad fact of life, but things change. And sometimes you have to adapt and change, and sometimes you have to start over and move on.
I know there was a question here in the front. David, please.
Hi, my name is McKenna Kelly, class of 2013. Do you believe it's fair to punish the taxpayers by making them pay for the work of one person to be done by two?
That is a very good question.
The question goes to Ed
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry.
That's okay.
Yep.
Well, my first thought, no. I don't think it's fair. It's necessary in any position to have a deputy clerk. Now, we don't have a specifically hired full-time permanent employee as a deputy clerk. There have been other people that have been deputized to step in and when she is unable to do the job, or in this case, unwilling. But this, it's not just about the money. Because it's not a lot of money. It's about what's right. And no, the taxpayers should not, the town of Ledyard should not have to pay somebody to not do work. She said it herself. She's there most of the time by herself. We're paying her to be there by herself. We're paying her to sign licenses when they come in. Whether it's a hunting license, a dog license, a marriage license, she should do the job that she's paid to do. Or let somebody else do the job.
Okay, first of all, I want to tell you how many licenses we do. We have never in 10 years done more than 7. And the only reason we do 7 is because we kind of partnered with Wells, the Aurora Inn. They called me one day and asked me if I would take people that were going to get married down there and do those applications. Because, people like to get their applications where they live or where they get married. So like 30 years from now, when you got to go get another copy, you kind of remember. So I said, sure, we'll do them. But before that, we were only doing 2 or 3. Because, we're kind of in an aging community, except for you guys. And not everybody's getting married anymore. So we were only doing 2 or 3. This year, we've done 3. So for a deputy to do this application process, it's going to take about 20 minutes. But let's say it's like an hour. They're going to get paid $10 an hour. That's what we pay the deputies. So if we do 7 in 1 year, that's $70. So taxpayers, it's like less than a penny. There's nothing there for them. And also the town board has asked me to bring in a deputy for more time. They want somebody else to run the job just in case I, get kicked by a cow or something. So $70 isn't a whole lot, and 7 licenses, it's like less than 1% of my job. And I'm in there, I'm training the deputies now to do it, and when I'm in there, I will be in there for, if they have any questions or anything. So it's not like I'm completely not overseeing it, I'm just not signing them. So it's not a big deal. Oh, let me just say one thing about the law, because you're talking a lot about following the law. You see, I'm trying to put this process together within the law. I'm not breaking the law. You got to know that. And if that comes to a real question where it is not answered, this can go to court, because that's why we have courts. So I'm not afraid to go to court. I'm ready to go to court. Get that lawsuit to me as fast as you can, because I have no problem. We are working within the law. That's all I can say. And I can also say about, church and state. That's a really big question. Like, why are you messing up church and state? Okay, I believe that too, but my answer is, who came first, God or the government? Marriage was way before the New York State government. So New York, get out of marriage. That's my answer to that.
We have a question in the back. So David, can you get to the back? And this question goes to Rose first. And again, remember to introduce yourself, and you have 1 minute to ask your question.